Welcome in, everyone, to Spiritual Roots Podcast with me, Misty, where we talk about life, the magical, mundane, and everything in between. Thank you so much for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Today, my friends, we are going to be talking about journaling. It's one of my favorite subjects. I currently keep several journals. I have my everyday journal for whatever is happening in my life, my dream journal, which also acts as my intuitive hitch journal, such as when I experience clairs or visions. I have my podcast journal where I brainstorm ideas for the show. I have a journal just for tarot and oracle spreads. I have my witch's journal, and this one is super special to me. This one I keep just for Sabbats and special rituals I've performed over the years. And I personalized this witch's journal. When I first cracked it open, I illustrated by hand information about myself at the time, like some examples were my name, my favorite music, the fact that I'm left-handed, my sun sign, my moon sign, a couple of favorite quotes, just as an example. And I will post a couple of pictures. I won't get too in-depth, but I will post some pictures over in my Patreon, just for some inspiration if anyone would like to take a peek. And these are just some examples that you don't have to have just one journal. So whether you're an avid journaler or just getting into journaling, this episode has something for everyone. I first remember journaling back in 1993. Anybody remember back in the 90s? I still have that journal today. Isn't that wild? I've looked at it over the years and boy, not some of my proudest moments. But I think that's the case with most people who have been journaling for a long time. It's a written history of ourselves and a look at how we've evolved over the passing of time. The good, the bad, and all of the ugly. Shit, some of the things I don't even remember journaling. Like I'm looking and I'm like, wow, when did that happen? But I wrote it down, so it had to have taken place. But journaling can be so healing. And the written word, in my opinion, is such a gift. So in this episode, we will discuss different names for journals, different types of journals, and different ways to journal. Just make it your own. It doesn't have to be fancy. When I practice my journaling, I like to make it a ritual, if I have the time. So if I have the time, this is what it looks like for me. I light a candle, I cast a circle, I light an incense, I choose my favorite crystal, which is a clear quartz tower, by the way. Love a clear quartz. And just be present. Oh, and don't forget, a favorite beverage. Love my coffee, everybody. Love my coffee. And I usually practice early in the morning when the house is still asleep, and I can really focus on the thoughts and put them on paper. So, my friends, I invite you to get a tasty beverage, get into a comfy spot, and let's get into the magic of journaling. There is something deeply intimate about putting pen to paper. Long before social media, long before digital notes and cloud storage, witches, mystics, healers, and seekers, and everyday folks kept journals, not just as records, but as living, breathing extensions of their spiritual practice and living history. We're stepping into the world of the magical journal, or whatever you'd like to call your own journal. What it is, where it comes from, how it's been used through time, and how you can create one that feels like a sacred space for you. What is a magical journal? At its core, a magical journal is a personal spiritual record. It's a place where thoughts, rituals, observations, dreams, spells, if you're into it, and everyday life experiences can live together. You might have also heard them be called a witch's journal, witch diary, which emphasizes the daily recording of experiences, feelings, and insight. A book of ways, I love this name, highlights a personal evolving study of magic. A book of mirrors, specifically for journaling thoughts, emotional states, and spiritual growth to aid in self-reflection. I also love that name. A working journal, or a working grim, a practical, often messy book used for documenting active spells and experiments. A book of shadows, a more formal academic title for study, a green tome or book of sprouts. I love that. Common for green witches focused on herbology in nature. A book of brambles. Love that. Suggests a woody, organic, or hedge witch focus. An omnibus, a mix of everything. A librito de secretos, a little book of secrets. Spelling cookbook, a kitchen witch-inspired term, or just simply a spiritual journal, or just your journal. While these terms can have slightly different meanings depending on tradition, in modern practice they often overlap. The important thing to understand is this. A magical journal is not about perfection, it's about presence. It is the space where your spiritual path unfolds in real time. The idea of recording magical knowledge goes back centuries. Historically, grimoires were formal texts often written, filled with instructions for ritual, invocations, planetary correspondences, and spirit work. Many were guarded closely, passed from teacher to student, or hidden away due to fear of persecution. During times like European witch trials, keeping written records of magical practice could be dangerous. Much of the knowledge was passed orally or disguised with coded language. Later, in traditions like Wicca, the concept of the Book of Shadows became more widely known. Initiates would copy their teacher's book by hand, adding their own experiences over time. But here's the shift that's happened in modern spirituality. The magical journal has become deeply personal. It's no longer just about preserving tradition. It's about documenting your relationship with magic or yourself. Why keep a magical journal, you may ask? You might wonder why write it all down. There are several reasons. First, journaling helps you track your growth. Spiritual experiences can be subtle. What feels confusing today might make perfect sense when you look back months later. Second, it strengthens your intuition. When you write regularly, you start to notice patterns. What works for you, what doesn't, how your energy shifts with the moon, the seasons, or your emotions. Third, it becomes a tool of manifestation. Writing is an act of intention. When you record a desire, a ritual, or a goal, you are anchoring it into reality. And finally, it becomes a sacred container, a place where all parts of you are welcome, the curious, the uncertain, the powerful, the healing. What goes into this magical journal? This is where things get flexible. There is no single correct way to keep a magical journal. But here are some of the most common elements. Spells and rituals. You might write down steps of a ritual you performed, ingredients used, timing, such as the moon phase, the day of the week, or the season. Results or reflections afterward. Over time, this becomes your own personal spell book, refined through lived experience. Moon phases and astrology. Many magical practitioners track the moon cycles. New moon for intentions, full moon for releasing, emotional or energetic shifts. You can also note planetary movements, retrogrades, or astrological events and how they affect you. I know for me personally, I've noticed that the full moon really tires me out. I've noticed it really zaps my energy. And I've started to write that down. Dreams and intuitive messages. Dreams are often seen as gateways to deeper wisdom. Writing them down, even fragments, can reveal symbols, repeating themes, messages from your subconscious or spiritual guides. Herbal and crystal knowledge. Your journal can become a reference guide. Herbs and their magical properties, crystals and their energetic uses, personal experiences working with them. This transforms abstract knowledge into embodied understanding. Personal reflections. This is the heart of your journal. Your fears, your breakthroughs, your questions. Magic isn't separate from your life. It moves through it. Writing about your experiences brings clarity and depth to your practice. Symbols, sigils, and creativity. Some witches include sigil work, drawings, pressed flowers, tarot spreads. This is a fantastic way to get journaling. When you're really present with an oracle or tarot spread, you can really get into some deep, deep journaling. I've written pages and pages of worth of thoughts just from one tarot spread or oracle card. One thought leads into another, and pow! You've just released way more than you thought you ever thought possible at the moment. Like more than you probably even intended. Maybe you just wanted to do a quick journal sesh that morning. And once you got into this rhythm, like it just all came out and flowed out of you. I've had some pretty profound journaling sessions from pulling cards for myself. Some oracle decks even have reflection questions in the guidebook, so you can go deeper into the cards' meaning and see what comes up for you. A couple examples that come to mind are two of my favorites, the Green Witch's Oracle by Erin Murphy Hiscock and The Witch's Way Home by Emma Griffin, both beautiful decks. And they both have reflection questions or journaling prompts in the guidebooks, so I highly suggest those two. Affirmations. Automatic writing or channeling. I've recently done a channeling session at our Women's Circle Gaia group, probably like a month or so ago. It was my first time doing it, and I was in awe of what came up. It was unbelievable. I was really, really surprised at what came through. And I really got into it. Like, I was really in the flow. And it's a pretty magical practice if you can get into that. Your journal doesn't have to be just words either. It can be art, texture, and energy on a page. For example, junk journaling. Whoa. I'm hooked on videos of people junk journaling. What an art that is. And if they add ASMR into it, that's a bonus for me. Some different styles of magical journals, because not all magical journals look the same. Some are structured and organized, with sections and indexes, messy and free-flowing like a stream of consciousness. Whatever comes to mind, friends. A mix of both, order and chaos dancing together. You might even keep more than one, right? Like I mentioned earlier, a daily journal for thoughts and emotions, a separate grimoire for spells and correspondences, or you might prefer one sacred book that holds everything. There are so many ways to journal, and there's so much information out there on the subject. There's no hierarchy here, only what feels aligned for you. And there's books written about journaling. There's YouTubes. There's so much information out there. If you are resistant to journaling, maybe it's something you tap into. If you've taken a break from journaling, maybe this episode inspires you to get back into it. It's just such a healing practice, and it's really gotten me through a lot of tough times, great times, both. It's just a great way to document your life, in all its glory and all of the downfalls that come with it. Creating your own magical journal. If you're just starting, you don't need anything elaborate. A simple notebook is enough. I've seen people just use a straight up notebook that you'd use in school. Remember those old 5-subject notebooks or 1-subject notebooks? Those styles. You can choose a special pen or other writing utensils used for journaling. I have special pens. I wanted to throw that in there. Really make it something that is special to you. You can also choose a journal that feels meaningful or beautiful to you. You could go on Etsy and get handmade journals. You could make your own journal. There's YouTubes out there about making journals, down to dyeing the paper if you want that patinaed look, or how to sew the binding. You really could get into this and just make it your own, legit handmade from start to finish for you. You could cleanse it with smoke, sound, or intention. Dedicate it with a small ritual. You might say something like, this journal is a space of truth, growth, and magic. May it hold my journey with honesty and care. Whatever comes to you, honestly, my friends, make it your own. I can't say that enough. And just like that, it becomes sacred. It's your sacred book. One of the most powerful things you can do is turn journaling into a ritual. Again, you might light a candle before writing, pull a tarot or oracle card for guidance, sit in quiet stillness for a few moments, This shifts journaling from a task into a practice. Something you return to, not out of obligation, but out of connection. Connection with yourself, connection with your spirit guides. Maybe connections with relationships, with you going inward about what they mean to you, how they're evolving. Things like that you can put down on paper. And just sit with them. Maybe you come back in a month or two and review how you were feeling about something. And now that situation has changed, you can go back and review that and then journal on how it's working out now, or how your feelings have changed, or how your situation has changed. Keep an open mind and just let it flow out. And letting go of perfection, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is important. Your magical journal is not meant to be aesthetic perfection. It's not meant to look like something you'd post online, unless that's something you want to do. It's meant to be real. Some pages might be messy, some might be emotional, some might be half finished. I have pages in my journal where I've been super, super pissed, like ragey angry, and I've just written largely what I'm feeling, just get that emotion out. That's not failure, that's authenticity, right? Magic doesn't require perfection, it requires being present. And over time, something beautiful starts to happen. Your journal starts to become a mirror for you. It starts to reflect you back to yourself. You'll see how far you've come, how your beliefs have evolved, how your strength has deepened. It becomes a witness to your journey. So because not everybody sees our journeys, right? Only we do. Even our spouses don't always see, or our partners, or our best friends, or our coworkers we might be close with, who maybe we tell everything to. We don't tell everybody everything, right? We keep some secrets to ourselves, and that's where you can write things down if you have to get them out. It just becomes a witness to your own journey. A quiet companion that holds your story without judgment. Some people like to pass these things on or keep it sacred to them. Some people choose to pass their journals down, like their heirlooms, especially if you write out some grimoires and you want to pass it down to your heirs, or, maybe you're a godparent to someone and you want to pass this information down if you don't have your own kids. Whatever the situation is. Others like to keep them entirely private, meant only for their own eyes. So maybe when you pass, you want them to be burned or destroyed in some way. Maybe you want them buried with you. I don't know. It's keep it sacred. You don't have to pass these things on. Both choices are valid, whether you would like to pass on the knowledge or keep it sacred and hold it to your heart forever. Because at the end of the day, your magical journal belongs to you. It's your magic. It's your voice on that paper. It's your path. If you've been feeling called to start a magical journal or any journal, consider this your sign. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to have it all figured out. Just begin. One page, one thought, one moment of honesty. Maybe you use journal prompt words. Focus. Write down that word and then what does that mean to you? And that really can start a flow for you. Because sometimes, just like an artist, sometimes you look down at for me it's watercolor paper. And I'm like, I feel like I want to be creative, but I don't know what I want to do. So sometimes you just playfully draw and I doodle or something, and that starts a flow into something else. It's the same with journaling. You feel like maybe you want to journal, but you have so many thoughts you don't know what to focus on. Just write down one word that you're feeling, or a sentence, or look for journal prompts. And then that starts the flow for you. It's just start putting it down on the page. Because magic doesn't live in perfection, it lives in presence. And sometimes the simplest act of writing something down is the spell itself. Because, my friends, words are spells. And I couldn't leave you with this episode about journaling without a few journal prompts. So I'm going to leave this here with you. What parts of myself feel ready to be seen, honored, or healed right now? Write honestly about where you are in the season of your life and what your spirit may be asking of you. If my intuition could speak freely without fear or doubt, what would it say to me today? Let yourself write without overthinking. Trust the first thoughts that come through. What does magic truly mean to me personally? Explore how your understanding of magic, spirituality, and connection has evolved over time. That is all I have for you today, my friends. Thank you so much for coming along for this ride with me about journaling today, one of my deepest and most heartfelt subjects. I love this so much. You've probably all heard me speak about it. But I hope that this sparks something in you to start journaling or get back into it or look at it in a different way, whether you want to hand make a journal for yourself to make it more personal or gift it to someone. Journals are great gifts for people. I've gifted some before. Again, Etsy is a beautiful way to get personalized journals. You could have names put on them. But if that's not your jam, you just are a simple person and that's just how you live, that's beautiful too. Not everything has to be frills, you know? Just get a regular old notebook and just write down bullet points if that's your journaling style. But thank you so much, friends. I hope you have a great rest of your week and take care. Thanks for coming along for the ride, travelers. If you're enjoying the show, please share, like, or leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, or come join me over on Patreon, where you'll get show updates and have early access to new episodes. You can also find me on Buy Me a Coffee. If you have ideas for the show or would like to say hello, you can email me at spiritualrootspodcast@gmail.com. Please keep sharing the show so we can keep finding our spiritual roots together.